Now, we've seen the comments in response to Tom Aspinall putting his hands on Jon Jones and Jon Jones taking his hand and moving it off of him. I think Tom put his hand on Jon's chest or something like that, right?
That was the real Tom. You think Tom looked like a nice guy in that? It turns out Tom's a nice guy. That was the real Tom. And the real Tom shook Jon's hand and took his other hand and put it on Jon. At which point, the real Jon took that hand off and told him, "Don't put that hand on me."
Okay. Now, Chael tries to argue that Tom was just being friendly. No, he was not. When he put his hand on Jon's chest like that, he was not trying to be friendly. He was trying to sun Jon. He wasn't measuring distance, like a lot of people will say. At least I don't think he was. He was not trying to measure how close he needs to be to hit Jon. You don't need to put your arm on nobody's chest to do that, to figure that out. All the fights Tom's had. Okay, he was not trying to gauge distance. He was not trying to size Jon up. You don't need to put your hand on somebody's chest to size him up. You don't. All you need to do is see that person in person. And you already get a good idea of how big they are. And the closer you get to them, the better idea you get of how big. You don't need to touch him at all. He put his hand on Jon like that to sun him. To say, hey, little guy, former light heavyweight who just moved up to heavyweight, little buddy. I want to fight you too, little guy. That was his way of trying to, make Jon look like the little guy moving up, the rookie. Hey, you don't have no heavyweight experience. Hey, little buddy. That's what you do with your son. After they graduate, pat them on top of the head and you squeeze their traps, slap them a few hard times on the back, right? Almost knock them over. Or you'll just, rest your hand on their chest. Doing that is another way to show your future opponent, to show that guy how big your hand is on his chest. It's an intimidation tactic. It's an intimidation tactic. If I can plant my hand on your shoulder and my hand completely wraps over your entire shoulder blade, that's me letting you know I'm a big man. Yeah, you might be at heavyweight now, but you still a small dude. That's what he was trying to do. That was an intimidation attempt. He wasn't, I don't believe Tom was trying to download data, which is what a lot of people say. And I just wanted to put that out there because Chael even sensationalized it. That he said, oh, that was the real Jon who moved his house. Stop. Most men would have done that. And I tell you what, any fighter or man, period, who wouldn't have done that would have regretted not doing it later on. Be like, man, I should have knocked his hand off my chest. Yeah, put your hand on my chest. Especially if you're taller than that guy. The only reason you're going to do something like that is to try to make them feel small. And that's what Tom was trying to do.